This time we're going to do something a little bit different. We're going to take a look at some actors and actresses who we think are very, very good and don't get enough praise or roles that they deserve. My first choice would be the character actor James Badge Dale, who you saw, we reviewed him as Jesse Steed in Only the Brave, a film we both loved from last year. He was a cancer patient in Flight, and he was actually the only good thing about that movie, but that's just my opinion. And he was also Michael Fassbender's co-worker in the controversial drama Shame, which I didn't like. I can't speak for him, but there you have it. I've seen him. He was also Trooper Berrigan in The Departed, so let's just, there's that too. I've seen him, someone with a lot of real charisma. I mean, he can just draw your attention simply by walking on the screen, and that is just a rare, just screen appeal, and that's something that not many people have. I mean, there are a lot of great actors, who just can't draw the camera's attention, like Michelle Williams. She's a great actress, but she, doesn't have that it factor, and Dale does. And I really, really hope to see more of him soon, and I'm sure we will. The only direction he can go is up, and I can't wait.
Okay. Yeah, I agree. Screen presence is such a powerful thing, and you see these actors or actresses, and when they have these smaller roles, either when they're up and coming or they just have a cast in a small part, and you just wonder, that's what they're what you remember from the film.
Exactly.
Or you just want so much more of them.
Right.
And and he's one of those people. It's like, let's give him let's give him a shot.
Give him a leading role, for God's sake.
Yeah.
Let's see what he can do with it. I know he'll knock it right out of the park.
Yeah. I think about people giving chances like Howie Long, the football player who's nothing else was given a chance to star in an action film as many years ago. But it's
Firestorm, really? Oh my God, that movie was so lame.
It was so horrible. Yeah, but if someone can look at say, oh, I think Howie Long, let's give him a shot. Why can't someone like him? Please give an actor like him a shot in a better film, please. But
something where the script wasn't written by 2-year-olds. But that's just my opinion.
Right.
But
okay. For me, I'm selecting Daniel Bruhl. Now he can't be classified as not receiving any sort of attention. He's been being nominated.
For Golden Globe.
Yeah, he's been being nominated for awards since he started acting way back in the early 2000s with German film Goodbye Lenin.
Yes, I haven't seen that yet.
Okay.
But
I haven't either, but I know that's when he started attention. And then American audiences knew him as playing German war hero in Inglourious Basterds.
Yes,
Zoller. And ever since then, his star has been rising.
Yeah, and for good reason.
Yeah. What I'm advocating is that it keeps on rising. He's also probably his biggest role would have been in Civil War is the villain Zemo, and he brought a lot of the emotional weight there. He's the person putting things in place because really what we have is heroes fighting each other, but he was the emotional weight behind what was happening, and really a strong villain for not being any sort of having superpowers or ever getting into a battle, but still more of his intelligence. And really what he reminds me of is like a younger, like a Michael Caine, where when he's in the film he brings a seriousness and a weight to his roles.
Exactly.
And being he's returned to being a Nazi soldier, including like last year's The Zookeeper.
Yeah,
and he probably will several times, but that's fine. Now I think if I watch a film with Nazis, I'm hoping he's in it.
Yeah, exactly.
Because he does it so well.
Oh yeah,
he does it so well. And And he's also right now. This isn't necessarily this isn't a movie, but he's also the one of the leads in The Alienist on TNT.
Yes,
and he's again, and this is a very well cast show. I mean, it's movie quality with the casting and the directing. So far 3 episodes into the season, but again, like he's like the heart of that film. And so I'm just hoping that his star continues to rise, so that one day, he can carry a film. He can carry a film, and people go see it. Much like again, like a Michael Caine or a Morgan Freeman.
Right.
Back when they were kind of when people kind of their eyes were open to how great.
Yeah, these two people could be.
They could be. Yeah.
He first really came to my attention when I saw Rush, the race car movie about James Hunt and Niki Lauda, directed by Ron Howard. That movie made my top 10 list that year. It was number 4.
Yeah.
It's a great movie. We should review it on the show because it's fantastic. But he has that attention, intensity, and that kind of like, well, not kind of. He has that, really abrupt and insensitive, in-your-face approach to his acting style, and he does it so well. And no one, few people can actually manage to do that and make them like likable or interesting, as opposed to make you want to smack him in the face. And he can do that too. But he's very, very good. I expect to see more of him. And he was in Woman in Gold with Ryan Reynolds. So I really am looking forward to seeing what he does next. Yeah. My next choice, I've actually only seen her in one film, but I'm giving this to her because she stole the entire film and just blew me out of the water. It's Maisie McGlane, who played Rachel Scott in I'm Not Ashamed from 2 years ago about the Columbine victim. And let me just put it this way. Since The Passion of the Christ released in 2004, Hollywood has, opened our eyes to, faith-based films. And in general, they're either mediocre or just god-awful. I mean, they're horrible, usually. But I'm Not Ashamed blew me away because it's a terrific movie. It made my top 10 list that year. And she has that, that energy, that spunk, that life, and she's just adorable on screen, and she has that effortless acting ability that makes her just like disappear into a role. There's no sense that she's reaching for an effect, and she's great in this movie, and I really hope to see more of her.
Okay. I'm not going to be able to speak having not seen that film yet, although it is on my to watch list. So I will raise you a young actor in a film that you haven't seen, which is Timothée Chalamet from Call Me by Your Name. Also, someone I've only seen primarily in that film. Like, he was also in Hostiles that we reviewed earlier in a small role. But as far as that's pretty much the basis of my experience with him. However, I was still so blown away by his performance in this film that I don't see how he's going anywhere but up. And I'm excited to see what he does next. To contrast with another film about teenage sexuality, which you really enjoyed, which I did not, Itu Wawatabian.
He's a liar. It's a great movie.
He plays a teenager who has a very good balance of still having at 17 some maturity, but very still sexually inexperienced,
right?
And and having and those two things contrasting in his relationship with an older person. So, anyways, it was we're not reviewing that film. However, his performance is one of the best of the year, and so for that, I'm excited to see what he does next. And I will probably see if there's anything previously that I have missed of his.
yeah, actually, I'm really excited to see this movie. I just have to get around to it. For my next choice, I'm actually kind of cheating with this one because for film lovers, she's really not. She's pretty well known on the foreign film circuit. But to American audiences who spend all their time in the multiplex, she's only had two movies to her name, Memoirs of a Geisha and Miami Vice. And so my next pick is Gong Li, the legendary Chinese actress who, together with Zhang Yimou, basically brought Chinese cinema to the world stage in the early 90s with movies like Red Sorghum, Judo, and To Live. And, I mean, I could just watch her in any movie because in addition to being able to do almost any role, she is a remarkably physical actress. In addition to being, when she's actually 51, and she looks incredible. I mean, she's eternally young, and but she can do so much. She's in such control of her body and her talent that she can with just simple, subtle movement, just get the perfect effect. For example, in 2 years ago, she was in a movie called Coming Home, 2 years ago, and honestly, during most of the movie, it was as if the director had transported her 30 years, given her arthritis and dementia. That's how convincing she was, and her performance in Farewell My Concubine is the stuff of legends. I mean, hell, if you can, say a line that is dumb as I shall destroy you and make it sound convincing, you deserve a spot on this list in general. So I'm going with Gong Li. I love everything she's done, and I really wish she would do more roles, and I really, really wish that she would do more American movies because my God, does she deserve it?
I agree with you. Great actress, and unfortunately, in her 50s, it's probably not going to have it as far as gaining the audience that we both agree that she deserves. But
here's the thing: she still looks like she's 30.
Well, yeah.
Even though she is 50, she looks incredible.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Definitely. I'm glad she gets the appreciation that she does in her home country. But she So I'm going to my next choice is going to be an actor who I think there's still plenty of time for, but is definitely is eyeing the bubble as far as falling off from the chance to become a big star. That's Jai Courtney. When I first seeing the first Jack Reacher film and his the villain, I was like, this guy is going to be a star. He just has an intensity about him. And I think that the train wreck that was A Good Day to Die Hard, where he plays John McClane's son, was so bad that it really derailed what people were, had high hopes for him. Which I can't, who would turn down that role? But the film was horrible, was just god awful. And he's in Suicide Squad as Captain Boomerang, who's probably one of the not so great characters.
And that movie wasn't very good either.
Yeah, no, and that's not going to raise his star. But I still feel like that, that if he could get the right role as an action, I do see him, with his intensity is an action star. But that's everyone has their lane. I think he could be a really good star. The other thing I always think of is that Tom Hardy is maybe some of the roles that we go to him, which also because of Suicide Squad, Tom Hardy was going to be there. They went with him as an alternative, but I prefer Tom Hardy and less of his action roles. I prefer him more as a dramatic actor. So I'm hoping that Jai Courtney can get some of those action roles and maybe be given a chance to shine a little bit more. So.
My next pick is also a young actor who we've mentioned previously on the show, and that's Jay Hernandez. He was in a movie that we both really liked, and we both thought very highly of him in Crazy Beautiful. He is just fantastic I mean, he can steal every scene that he's in, regardless of its size or importance to the plot. And he has all the makings of a movie star. He's talented, he's good looking, and he has the presence of a movie star. But unfortunately, he's just hasn't gotten any really good roles. He was the lead in Hostel, which I haven't seen yet. But he's just great. I really hope to see more of him in the future.
Yeah, I agree. I'm gonna say hopefully this isn't too controversial in today's climate, but I think we still, when we see certain actors of with a certain
non-white actors,
that still stands out.
Whitewashing.
And sometimes it's a bit of a hurdle to overcome.
It is, and that's really sad.
It really is. But with him, I mean, his charisma, his good looks, his acting, all those things transcend that. I mean,
I mean, hey, he was cast as Mila Kunis's boyfriend in the Bad Moms movies. So.
Right, yeah. So
maybe there's hope for him.
So he's an actor who I would never expect to be typecast or to put into some sort of stereotypical ethnic role, and and there's still hope for him too. He's
still a pretty young guy.
Yeah. So my next pick is speaking of actors of non-American ethnicity, is Steven Yeun. Best known for The Walking Dead.
I haven't actually seen.
Okay, all right, okay. Well, this is one. So he played the character Glenn on The Walking Dead, and he was the most beloved character. So much so that his death 2 seasons ago caused a lot of people. It was to leave the show. People were angry because he was killed off. But he was the most relatable character. He was the heart. He was the most enjoyable thing on that show. Now, because he was in that show, which took him a lot of time, he has done a lot of acting. I just happened to catch maybe his first big starring role in a film called Mayhem, which is it's at Redbox. If anyone who wants to check it out, I think it has a small theatrical release. But it's a bit of a horror action film, but again, we're not reading the film, but he shows in that film that he can carry a film. He still has that likability. He's really he's not he's doing action, he's doing physical things in the show and in this film, but that's not really what his strength is. His strength is being likable, being believable. He's kind of like an everyday guy, but who can do bigger things, and that really translates well to a lot of roles and opportunities, especially for, I guess, what he looks like he might be looking to going into is some sort of keeping with an action horror route. So he's good, and I hope to see I hope he's not another one of these people who we just love in a long running television show and then can't make that transition to film, because I think he can be successful there.
My next pick is she's working as a character actress right now, but she is just ready to make it into the prime time. She's got the talent and she's got the exposure. All she needs is just that one movie that will catapult her into the stratosphere, and that would be Michelle Monaghan. I've seen her in a number of movies, even bad movies like Sleepless or Machine Gun Preacher. And I've seen her in a number of good movies like Kiss Kiss Bang Bang,
Gone Baby Gone.
Yeah, Gone Baby Gone, True Detective, Pixels, which wasn't very good, but in it she steals her scenes by being one of the most natural actresses around. Like, she's one of those people who has built a career on being the girl next, being the kind of like every girl, the every woman, and she never seems to be acting, and yet, but at the same time she plays all these complex characters, and it's effortless, or it seems to be effortless, and she has that kind of like, you know, earthy, you know, appeal to her. Like, you know, she's not like, you know, a radiant beauty like Julia Roberts is. I mean, this isn't a criticism against her; it's actually a compliment. I mean, because she is a great beauty, but she still, you know, has that kind of like, you know, appeal that you could, you know, like run into her at, you know, Whole Foods or Walmart or whatever. And but at the same time, she can still do action roles. She can do comedy. She can hold her own against, you know, Robert Downey Jr. and Adam Sandler and Jamie Foxx, all these great talents. And I mean, she's just fantastic. She, mark my words, she's going to get a fantastic movie, win an Oscar, and, you know, become a huge big name in Hollywood. And I can't wait for that to happen.
Yeah, we're on the same page there. I feel like it's just a matter of her getting the right role.
It's only a matter of time.
Yeah, because she's so good. You know, Gone Baby Gone, that was my favorite film, 2007, and, you know, for all the great acting in it, you know, she was right there. And again, like you said, and I didn't think about this with her before, but it's effortless.
Yeah,
you know, she is that character on the screen. She is
right. There's never this sense that she's reaching for an effect, or she's like trying to, you know, win attention and awards. It's very subtle acting.
Yeah.
But she can do it all. Action, comedy, drama, you name it, and she hits it right out of the park every single time.
Right.
Even in bad movies. I mean, but, you know, a movie like Sleepless, you know, that's not built on the actors. You know, that's all about the director, and it just wasn't good. But yeah, she's a great actress, and I await, you know, every movie or TV show that she's in with bated breath.
All right, so my last selection here is going to be Curtis Jackson.
50 Cent.
Okay, 50 Cent.
Yeah.
Actually, I'm joking. I was testing out my own acting skills here. I wanted to see your face, but thank you for remaining respectful for my choice. Actually, no. That's it for me for now. I'm sure I have many lists, and actually, I really like to think about the actresses. Because going into this, I was thinking about actors, but I know there are some actresses that I definitely.
Yeah. I'm actually kind of cheating on this one again, and I'm sorry, by picking two people, but they were in a little-known film in the early 90s called Once Were Warriors. It's a New Zealand drama about alcoholism and domestic violence. It is very brutal to watch. It is so hard, you know, to sit through this. And that is because the acting by Tamir Morrison and Rena Owen it's the stuff of legends. It really is. Tamir Morrison was compared to young Marlon Brando. Roger Ebert said that those two performances brought the Academy Awards into perspective, even though they didn't get nominated for anything, shockingly. But what I like about this movie and their performances is that with Rena Owen, she has a great strength to her. She has a lot of fire and you know, a lot of energy, and she, you know, finally begins to, you know, stand up for herself against her brutish drunk husband, who in one particularly painful scene beats the ever living hell out of her. And when she puts her foot down, you know, we listen, and and it's just riveting acting. But as her co-star, Tamir Morrison, who previously, you know, played nice mild-mannered guys, creates a sort of like animalistic drunk that is, you know, he's a pig. But he's also held hostage by his temper, by his alcoholism, and by his, you know, belief that everything can be handled with his fists, and his own insecurities. and it's riveting stuff. It is very tough to watch. It's one of the toughest movies to sit through I've ever seen, and it's painful to watch what happens in this movie. But it is riveting viewing. It is essential viewing, and Rena Owen actually kind of begged off superstardom to concentrate on being a stage actress and a character actress. And Tamir Morrison tried his best to become a leading man, but Speed 2, his first Hollywood role was in Speed 2, and that bombed. He was Evan-Sur in Green Lantern, which bombed, and he was also Jango Fett in the much hated Star Wars prequels. But I think he's just such a good actor. He has that magnetism that makes you pay attention to him, and as is Rena Owen, and they're both very, very good. And I really wish they could get another chance at Hollywood stardom.
Okay. Well, you've convinced me. I'm feeling I'm gonna have to check out. And if there's any films that we mentioned that you haven't seen here, or actors or actresses, then we hope you'll check them out. We also would like to hear from you if you agree with us, or if you have your own suggestions. I think we should do this again because I know there's a number of actors and actresses, and hopefully with Netflix doing us all a favor and getting Adam Sandler to the small screen off the big screen, there's more room out there.
Yes, exactly.
In the cinemas. So hopefully, we'll be seeing some additional success for the much deserving actors and actresses out there who do not get enough credit or opportunity. Or the opportunity. So thank you for watching.